Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Family Podcast with your two favorite brothers. My name is Sammy.
My name is Don.
And today we're talking about casual sex. Run the intro! So I was doing some browsies, yeah, and I came across an article on Vice.
Okay.
And it was the accounts of women who were experiencing or who had gone through casual sex, or they were asked questions around casual sex. So I thought it'd be interesting to read some of the accounts and sort of have, one, an insight into how some women view casual sex, and two, to give our perspective on the writings.
Okay.
So I've taken the names out, but
They have people's names in there.
Yeah, but it was just like first name and then age.
Oh, okay.
So if
probably anonymous though, to be fair.
So if people want to read the actual article, I will include the link in the description.
Calm.
Cool. So this is account 1. I didn't plan. No, let me not do it like that.
Nah, yeah, don't, bro. That's
Right.
what is going on here.
Okay, so remember that it's women, yeah? It's going to sound weird me reading it, but man don't have enough money to get one of them voiceovers. It's all good. We'll get there in time. I didn't plan to have sex randomly. We were both tipsy, so it just kind of happened. I never expected it to go anywhere further or turn into anything special. I would prefer sex in a committed relationship any day over casual sex. I would feel more comfortable with the one I have a connection with, and also will be sure about him not being a serial killer. Okay.
Okay. Anyway, yeah, go on.
If I do think sex could make me happy, I'd say for a few minutes when I hit the big O, which isn't guaranteed, by the way. I wouldn't call it happiness, maybe a transaction.
That's wild. So basically, she's saying that thing is just like swiping a card.
Yeah, well, if it's casual, you know that nothing is going into it.
Yeah, but I'd expect you to get like an insane amount of pleasure and be elated if you're going to take that risk. Do you know what I'm saying?
But how
like,
can you...
Not really take that risk, yeah, but it's kind of like, at the end of the day, yeah, she sounds like this is a chore for her.
No, not...
Like, not really a chore, but it's not special. Like, she said, like, yeah, she gets a few minutes of elation. That's what she's saying when you hit the spot, and that's not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed.
And she would prefer to have
a long-term relationship.
Yeah, so it sounds like a long day.
Why?
Because it's kind of like, bro, like, that, to me, yeah, that sounds like, why am I here?
Don't you see it more as scratching an itch?
Yeah, but that's a bit random. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like she's scratching the itch but getting no sensation, or getting the most minimal sense of sensation that she could possibly get.
It's like but it's a roll of the dice, because obviously if it's casual, you haven't built up that relationship, that mature understanding of each other.
But what she would prefer, she doesn't have.
Yeah,
so she's just making do.
Yeah,
yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of like,
But as a single person, that might be your reality. You have maybe certain needs that you want fulfilled, and you look around at the landscape and you don't have anybody that you want to invest into, but you still have the itch. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it seems like she went for the lowest form of gratification for the itch. So basically, from what she's saying, yeah, she's not wildly attracted to the person, yeah, because I'm assuming that would have caused her a bit of elation, yeah.
Well, it doesn't say that. It's like a major inference, isn't it?
Bro, she says, I don't plan to have sex randomly. We were both tipsy, yeah. So that implies that, like, yeah, it was an itch, innit, yeah. All right, cool. So it kind of just happened. I never expected it to go anywhere further. Yeah, cool. Then she says, or turn into anything special. I would have preferred. So she's not even talking about, yeah, like how this thing was special, because she said it wasn't special.
Yeah.
She's not talking about like how amazing this thing was. She's not talking about like raw, like I really felt like I got that itch off my shoulder. Bro, do you know what this sounds like, yeah? You know, like, when you're clotting, yeah? And you're just thinking about something else. She may as well be thinking about doing grocery shopping, brother.
Yeah, but it's just...
Look
like,
at how she's talking about the transaction. It sounds bad.
but let me keep it a buck, yeah?
Mm.
Even in a relationship, you have quickies. A little thing to scratch the itch. It's not mind-blowing. It's not... It's like, okay, yeah, the kids are at the grandparents.
Maybe it's because, yeah, I don't do this often. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That for me, yeah, it's always exceeding my expectation.
Well,
but she,
yeah, no, but okay, I think that's a fair point.
Yeah, like,
because I think that's a fair point, but I want to expand on it because a lot of the time, men are easier to satisfy than women. Right, the way that our anatomy is that if it rubs against something, it gets aroused. If it gets rubbed for too long,
bro, but one second, you know the scenario, yeah, in which my thing happened, yeah. We on air and my parents kind of watch this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Got to be
hi, mom.
Got to be PG with it, yeah. But you know how my thing was set up, yeah, with the thing that happened.
Yeah.
Bro, there's no way you're telling me that her account is like this. No, like I'm not confident with a lot of stuff. Usually, I prefer to keep my mouth shut and just say I'm done. This is what I think, innit? But I'm pretty confident she weren't recounting like that. No way.
But what I'm saying is, not every woman can run into a you. You know?
Shout out Don.
So, look at this guy. Man's DMs are gonna be spilling over.
But no. You always say that, but it never happens. But anyway, so I just feel like it's a bit dry, innit? It's like a cream cracker moment with this thing, innit? And like that's why I picked it out, because I was just kind of like, raw. If I felt like how she's describing this, yeah, and I could be wrong. Maybe in her head, yeah, she's thinking it was great, but it just wasn't that, innit? Yeah? But in my head, yeah, I'd rather just not do it. Because it actually sounds like a proper disappointment. Like from what she's saying, innit?
Well, I think something that's interesting to take into consideration is that she actually prefers a committed relationship. So that might have something to do with how she views the experience.
She said, go on.
Because if you do something with someone and you're tipsy, and then they sort of finish, and then they're already looking for their boxers to dip.
Yeah.
Instead of cuddling or just laying in the bed together, that can have an effect on how somebody views the experience. I know that there's this bias that people have, where if the beginning of something is good, but the middle and end is bad, they consider the end more than the beginning.
Fair enough.
And so, while the beginning might have been really good, that person getting up and leaving might taint the whole experience.
Because my thing is like, she put, if I do think casual sex could make me happy, I'd say for a few minutes when I orgasm. That's wild. That's like, why are you doing this, bro? Like,
you're doing it for the O.
Yeah, but you don't always get it. So you're basically playing mismatch. Like, do you know what it's like?
Yeah, no, but that's facts. It's a roll of the dice.
Yeah, it's mad. Yeah, it's mad. Sorry. Yeah. To me, that's all mad. I'd rather just not do it. But what about you? Like, obviously, I know you've been out of the game for a second.
Retired. My jersey has been retired. You know, man's in the Hall of Fame somewhere. You know what I mean?
But did you feel like this at any stage?
What, an itch scratch?
Yeah, like you're just doing it for the sake. It wasn't great. It wasn't nothing, but it just got done.
I'm not answering no questions until my lawyer gets here.
Oh man, fair enough. I hear you,
bro. The itch was like eczema. Yeah.
Hey, that's mad.
So yeah, we can't talk about me. Fam.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's a good thing I found a wife, my brother. Okay. This is account 2, yeah?
Yeah.
I'm too young for a serious relationship. The person was 21 at the time. But I come across guys who are really good looking and there's a vibe between us. I do it for fun. It's fun. I never expect anything special out of it. I've never caught feelings for anyone during a hookup. And I know for a fact that I will not find a guy I want to settle down with through this route. Guys who want to have sex right away after they meet you usually aren't the guys wanting anything serious. Casual sex makes me happy if I'm sober. It's basically sex in general, and also the fact that I choose to do it and nobody forced me. I would only hook up with older and low-key guys because they wouldn't shit talk to the whole city. Also, I pray that they don't. They are. And if you took videos,
you in the WhatsApp group, baby.
Yeah, that's
no, joking. Yeah, you see, account 2, yeah, makes it seem that there is some thrill to life and doing this thing. Yeah, account 1, yeah, give it up. Find somebody who you want to settle down with and settle down. You sound like this is a chore. You sound like this is going to work. But account number 2, yeah, they sound like they're just having a good time.
But remember
the age.
And not just the age. She says, I'm too young for a serious relationship.
Yeah.
So she doesn't even want to be in relationships.
Yeah.
And she knows that the route that she's going down isn't going to lead to a relationship, which actually is quite refreshing because it shows some level of awareness. Because
there's no awareness. Yeah, unless she never wants to settle down.
No, because some people actually feel like they can do that, and then all of a sudden the person who is bending it over is gonna suddenly say, I found my wife.
That's mad.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And so it's good that she has the awareness to know that doing it this way isn't something that's gonna lead to a long-term relationship. However, it will be interesting to see because obviously we know that having a certain number of bodies might be unattractive to some men.
Yeah, I was about to say that as well. I was about to say that the fact that there's a lot of bodies, it seems, you know.
Yeah, I mean, she doesn't disclose how many it is, you know. So it could be 3 or 4,
and it could be with the same people to some extent.
Oh, like on rotation.
Yeah. But yeah, the fact that she said it's fun and she enjoys it, we know that it might be a little bit more frequent. You get me?
Yeah. Do you think that she's got a point that older guys, I don't know what she means by low-key guys, that kind of sounds like cheating, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think she's probably talking about like, you know, like the nonchalant vibe. Like not brothers who are like, yo, man, just like, because remember she was saying that she's too young for a relationship, innit? So it may get like, what if it's within the realms of like 18 or 16 or like to 24? Yeah, it's gonna be one of those vibes where you're definitely being mentioned in the group chat. But if you've got someone who's kind of nonchalant, they're not really chatting your business.
You would assume.
Yeah.
But maybe those guys who are more laid back, maybe they don't get women as often, so they want to tell more people. Possibly, so you never know. So that's something to bear in mind. Not if you're gonna sleep with somebody, you have to take on the risk that they're gonna chat your business.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
So maybe they don't, and they're a person with morals or whatever. But
to me,
if they're not. Yeah, if they're not, then prepare to have your business chat. Then put on a good. You may gotta make sure you put on a good performance because them men are gonna chat.
Yeah, I can't do the chatty business, you know. For me, that's a wild thing. Like I used to know someone who like they were just very open, innit? And although I respect their thing, yeah, to me, nah, definitely not that.
Fair enough.
Definitely not that.
So yeah, man. Okay, account 3. The concept of no strings attached isn't as uncomplicated as the term itself sounds. I prefer sex in a committed relationship. It's beautiful. There's a point you'd feel your soul connecting. You have faith in the person. You feel safe. You can be yourself. The only reason I still like the idea of casual sex is because I sometimes feel love is impossible to find. So I would incline towards casual sex to satisfy my sexual needs. men say we're all for women, but the first thing they'd notice about a woman is her body. They're fascinated by big boobs and butts. If I can't have that, it's really hard to find someone who'd like me. But I don't care. I like myself, and I still want to be in control to feel my desires in casual sex. I feel I have the power to call the shots and ask for what I want directly. It gives me a kind of confidence and strength that, yeah, I'm the alpha.
Mad. That is wild. You don't really like it, but it gives you some power back and it scratches the itch, kind of like the first one, isn't it? It scratches the itch. You feel like, yeah, you're in control. That is mad.
Why?
Because I'm a hegemonic male. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know. I don't mind people saying what they like, innit? Obviously, I've spoken about that before. I think we did a live, innit? But like, if the dominant side comes out, like, do you know what I'm saying? Because it's casual sex, innit? Yeah, I'll just be looking at you like, you don't do this often. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, if that's your vibe, innit? That's your vibe, innit?
Yeah, I think the thing about I have the power to call the shots and ask for what I want, that's something that not a lot of women, well, I don't want to say not a lot of women, but calling the shots, I don't know how many women feel comfortable advocating for what they want and what they need. And so and maybe if she gets confidence from doing that, I suppose it's good for her because sex is a group activity.
What? A group activity?
Yeah, I didn't know how else to word.
This is a group activity.
As in more than one person, yeah?
You are definitely having eczema still. Nah. No, I hear you. Yeah.
But
partnership
just,
and that.
Yeah, that's the better word, isn't it? It's a partner activity. And so both people need to get what they want from the reaction, or else one person is going to start to resent it, and one person is going to feel like, well, I never get my needs met. And I feel like that's what happens in a lot of normative marriages and long-term relationships. They start doing it the same way, same positions, nothing changes, same time, same initiation process, same everything.
Mad.
And after a while, a man can do that.
Yeah.
A man can do that. It's fine for him. If you asked a man, listen, you're going to have sex 3 times a week, 4 times a week. You're going to do the same basic 5 positions that everybody does. And that's going to be it. Would you be happy with that? For the rest of your life? Most men will say, yeah, it's sex.
Yeah.
However, if you take that and you flip it and you ask women, they're going to be like, where's the romance? Where's the passion? Where's the... No, I don't think I'd be happy with that. And so there's this disconnect between men and women in terms of what we want from our sex.
Yeah.
And so for her to be able to say, I like this, I like that, it helps her partner, whether it's casual, whether it's long term, understand what she wants.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a private leaderboard still.
Wow, that's mad.
Yeah, cold, isn't it?
Don's Premier League and that.
Yeah. So basically, what we do, with my long-term partner in it, just to be clear in it, we're gonna have a leaderboard in it. So we just rank each other in it, and then like at the end of the quartile, you get me. Then we gotta.
So what does the winner get?
No. I'll think of something, innit? But yeah, some of it may be too explicit. Ask me when we're not on the podcast.
Say that.
And if you want to know, subscribe. $29.99. No, joking.
So let me ask you a question, because this lady says men say we're all in for women, but then the first thing they notice about a woman is her body. Do you think she makes a good point there, or do you think she's capping?
To some degree, yeah. To some degree, she's making a good point. I think different strokes for different folks. Yeah, so, you know, I know guys who like a more athletic look. I know guys who like a more petite look, and I know guys who like the curvy curve. You get me? So I don't necessarily think that, but I do think that guys have a thing about women being somewhat in shape to a degree, where, you know, like, if you are I wouldn't say unfortunate in it, but like,
Wow,
that's not
mad.
yeah, it's not nice, in it. But if you are someone who has ironing board back,
I took a look in the mirror and I realized my butt is so flat that I don't know where my lower back ends and my butt begins.
Ooh.
Then
Akia flapper.
yeah, and then the front is non-existent as well. And then also you have no contour to your body.
Yeah, but
as
people
well.
say that, but look how people went mad over Keira Knightley.
Yeah, but remember that Keira Knightley still had an athletic look. She had no back, she had no chest, yeah. But if you...
My bad, that's not athletic. It is very clear that men have a like for certain physiques, you know, and that breast and bum always catches, man.
But I don't know why, yeah, people act like this is a thing, yeah. It's actually just human beings. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I know I've had this debate before, and I've had females tell me the flex is in the wallet, or like the flex is like, we don't care about gym as much as you guys care about gym. And I get it, yeah. Like, obviously nobody is expecting men to be Stepani, you know what I'm saying? In terms of like big brolic, do you know what I'm saying? Like, most females, it's gonna be a bit too much, innit? But are you telling me a nice athletic build in it with some good biceps? Do you get what I'm saying? Well chiseled chest. Then, bro, come on, man. I seen it in real life.
Yeah, but I think that it's not even that I think that. The studies tend to show that women are way more forgiving in
no, definitely
men's physical appearance, especially amongst long-term partners. There's like a broad scope that women tend to look over, and physicality comes slightly lower. However, if you're talking about your ideal person, or you're talking about somebody that you want to hook up with, then their idea of physical appearance goes higher.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if they're trying to smash you like the ladies in this in these accounts, then yes, the way you look is gonna be chief amongst those things.
Yeah.
However, if you're looking for a long-term partner, then you're gonna be a little bit more forgiving.
And if you get both, you're gonna be on cloud nine.
Yeah, and if you get both, then yeah, cool. But
Yeah,
obviously, everybody has insecurities, and so maybe having a partner who is incredibly handsome, it doesn't alleviate anxiety; it creates it.
That's true.
And so there are things like that as well. Okay, account 4. I don't feel comfortable having sex with strangers. I do need to have an emotional connection. Casual sex makes me feel weak and shitty. I think sex is something you should share with somebody that you care about, and I would feel disgusting and dirty if I hooked up with somebody I didn't have feelings for. I think that if I want to have sex with a person before and do it, I think about if I want to have sex with a person before and do it. Sex does make me happy, but I don't like the idea of casual sex. I think the wait to find the one is worth it. The reason I say it is because I feel even if the sex isn't great sometimes, you can both feel sad together.
That is mad. Wow.
But she is alluding to the part that I said before. When you have a long-term relationship, you understand that a bad performance isn't indicative of how that person performs, because you've built up a sexual history.
Yeah, okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? So if he smashed the Sonic coins out of you on Wednesday,
man said the Sonic,
but had a bad performance on the Thursday, you understand that within the context of a relationship, that's a bad performance and not indicative of his level.
I think for that person, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know. I find it kind of shocking that like she's so harsh on herself. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like we have like a laissez-faire attitude where it's kind of like, oh, because this happened, oh, that's cool. Like, it is what it is. You know, and she's kind of like in her thoughts. Like, if she's having a casual hookup, she's wrecking her brain. Like, yo, why did you do this? Like, you know, you don't like this. This is not the way to go. And yeah, I suppose it is kind of refreshing to hear it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so she's got the mentality that all our mums and, do you know what I'm saying, would love. Do you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah,
oh, yeah,
I think it's weird though. No, I do. I think it's weird, like this idea that women should feel bad for having like casual sexual encounters. Now, personally, for a person like me, I think that promiscuity isn't always the best way to conduct yourself. I think you can fall into a trap of doing it.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, they can, especially women, they can end up being used by guys who just want to have sex with them, and not because they know that this person is into casual sex, they just get used all the time, and they don't get anything out of it apart from sexual gratification, which is whatever. If that's all you want, then fine, but it can lead to men treating you a certain way and not treating you with some of the respect that you deserve.
Sure.
So for me, I don't necessarily think it's a good, but I think that women should advocate for their own sexual experiences. And
no, definitely.
Yeah, and I don't get the whole idea of us celebrating the innocence and the virginness of adult women. I think it's weird. Yeah, you talk about adult women. You've been through certain experiences to become a man.
Yeah.
And a woman should go through certain experiences in order to become a woman. And then you meet someplace, and because you're both adults with adult experience, you can have more useful relationships.
So you would say that a woman who, well, yeah, so you would say a woman who has held her virginity past a certain age, you would see that as a hindrance.
Well, it means you're sexually naive. It does literally mean that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're not gonna be able to advocate for yourself. It's gonna take you a while to understand what you like and what you don't like, and that might be fine within the context of a relationship, especially if both partners have taken that route. I think there's something very special about that. That two people meet in their virginness, and they literally start from the ground together.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you're not gonna start from that position, do you want to go and coach and teach? And
what about someone who practices abstinence because their partner has, or do you think that puts them on an unequal footing?
What do you mean?
So, like, for example, let's say that you have a wife who is a virgin, never been touched. You know, everybody's like, yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? And the guy, obviously, he's slept around a little bit, but then later on, you know, obviously he's coming up to marriage, and his girl's like, I want to be a virgin until the day that we're married. That's why I've been doing this. And then obviously he has to abstain, innit? So,
yeah, he can abstain, but it doesn't change the fact that he's got historical knowledge
and the other person doesn't.
And the other person doesn't.
So
I mean, it's not a massive problem, but I'm just saying that if that is the case, and you should both want experiences that you bring so you can...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's a interesting point.
Yeah. We'll see how people take it. Okay, account 5. I have never had casual sex, never even thought about it. Being raised in a society where having sex or even dating before marriage is frowned upon, to figure it out, your own thoughts become a challenge. You just get used to living according to societal standards. Being everything a lady needs to be in today's world, I don't consider sex as a measure to define modernity, empowerment, or independence at all.
Mad, so just straight out against it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to read through some of these accounts, because it shows you that women have vastly different ideas about sex and casual sex and stuff like that. Because a lot of the time, whenever we talk about women and dating and relationships, every woman gets lumped in together. The Polish women get lumped in with the Jamaican women that get lumped in with the Eritrean women that get... Do you understand what I'm saying? And so it's like women have different views when it comes to this thing. Now,
No, definitely.
for certain purposes, we have to refer to men and women. But it is important to also remember that each woman is going to have a certain experience, a certain life experience. There are biological markers, but that doesn't necessarily mean that some people are going to act on those biological markers. And and it's important to understand that the person in front of you, whether you're dating or whether you are in a relationship, has had a unique way of growing up, unique perspectives, and that is going to feed the person that they are. So you can meet somebody who's 23 from London and she's deep into BDSM. And then you can meet another 23-year-old woman from London and she's never even been with a man before. And it's and it's important that we understand that, and we tell young men about that, so that they don't just say all women. Oh, you're a woman, so you must like rough play. You know, you're a woman, so you must like this type of thing. So you get to know the person, and then you can reciprocate.
I feel like I think I said before,
or lead or whatever,
that we should learn from everything that's around us, innit? And I think if you take the time to just deep life, you'll understand this point, because it's always very interesting, how men react when they see a beautiful woman or someone that they perceive to be a beautiful woman, and then they see their husband or their significant other and they're not so impressed. Do you know what I'm saying? They generally think, and it comes back to what you were saying before, where you were saying that females can be incredibly forgiving about the aesthetics. Yeah. And I think if you see that, then you know that, wait a minute. Some situations, they're just not the same. They don't like the same stuff. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, just because you're in the gym, you've got a nice body, there's some girls who don't care about that.
I legitimately know women who don't like shredded guys.
Guys. And then similarly, like, you get some guys who are really dry, in terms of their humor, in terms of like their character. Some females love it. Do you know what I'm saying? They're like, I know that he's just gonna be there for me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about the jokes. He's not trying to be the it guy at the table. Do you know what I'm saying? He's not trying to think. He's just trying to... And then you get some girls, like, it's all about the chat. You know what I'm saying? If he doesn't have good chat, he can't get with
If he can't make me laugh.
Yeah. And so if you generally try to deep the signs, you'll clock it. But if you're just in this cycle of, like, all girls are the same, I want to smash, do you know what I'm saying? Then you're never gonna deep the complexities.
Let me ask you a question. She says, being raised in a society where having sex or even dating before marriage is frowned upon, do you think there is some... Because obviously if you talk to anybody who's like tradcon, they say this promulgation of sex and everybody dating and everybody touching each other and everything's very liberal is to the degradation of society. Do you think that sex positivity is a net good or a net negative?
This is a hard one for me, innit? And I say that because of my religious beliefs. So I think it's good for people to speak about sex in a positive light. I remember growing up, I didn't have too many conversations with my parents about it. Something that's seen as quite taboo in African culture, or I'd say at least traditional African culture. And I just think that sometimes it's not just about the act of sex and pleasing. Sometimes it's about the education of what happens around sex, because what you're taught in school is not what life is. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, you know, and there's certain things that are important, you know, like health checking, making sure that you're eating good food. If you want to have good sex, you should try to be somewhat healthy, stretch often. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, nobody wants to be, you know, as my good friend says, beating the doonies out of thing and, you know, pull a hip. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not trying to do that.
I don't know if you've seen that video where this man is trying to get his girl to simulate strokes.
Oh, man.
And then she ends up getting a cramp.
See, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's like that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, like you don't want to be in that. Like, to me, yeah, I feel, maybe not all the time, yeah, but I feel like at certain times with certain conversations, like, sex is supposed to be optimal. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's supposed to be something, because think about like how we view it as a society, yeah. It's supposed to top up. It's supposed to be the cherry on top. Do you know what I'm saying? Let's face it.
But do you think it's been put on a pedestal? Because
I think it has. Yeah, I do think it has. But I think that we can make it reach the heights that it needs to reach. We just need to simmer a little bit. Yeah. So my thing is, like, right now, everybody be trying to have sex with the nicest girls they ever met. Everybody thinks they're a sex symbol. Right? Let's chill a little bit, yeah. Because you lot are devaluing sex, yeah. Because there's just so much of it around.
Yeah, I think.
Sorry, go on.
My issue is that we've swung the totem pole. No, that's not the right term. Yeah, we've swung the pendulum to the other side.
Yeah.
So something that's really interesting about human beings tends to be, it's really difficult for people to live in the middle, in the balance. I know it seems like we do because everybody goes to work and does things very samey. But in terms of ideological beliefs, the pendulum swings all the time from extremes to extremes. So before, it was like, don't have sex, your dick is gonna fall off.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
And now it's like, any type of sex with anybody is fine. Anytime, do you understand what I'm saying? As long as there's sort of consent in things. Now, I'm quite a liberal person, especially when it comes to sexual preferences. So I'm more like on the left side. However, I acknowledge that there are risks and complications that exist because of sex. They change the nature of relationships.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, some people lose friends because they've slept with them. Makes the friendship really awkward and they're unable to continue. And then you have all of the other things like, do people understand protection properly? Who's taught men how to use rubbers? How do you understand what I'm saying? And all of these components is what is missing. So everybody's out there saying, yeah, have sex with everyone, or no, don't have it because it's the ruining society. And everyone's forgetting the real issue, like cleanliness and how to do it safely and what to do if you think things have gone wrong. These conversations are missing from our conversations around sex and sexual preferences. Everybody's just like so concerned with who's doing it and who's not doing it, instead of saying, okay, if you don't want to do it, that is fine. There's nothing wrong with you, and you shouldn't be looked at as frigid or weird because you attach relationships to it.
See, I see it as like, I know this is crazy, yeah, but I see it as like almost like a sport, innit? Like, to me personally,
that's why you want to have the leaderboard.
Yeah, there you go. now you understand, innit? And the reason why I see it as a sport, yeah, like, you can train for boxing, yeah, but no boxer is having a prize fight, yeah, every single day. Do you know what I'm saying? Or even every single week, you know? There's a time for training, yeah? there's a time for like reflecting on your performance, watching your videos and your tapes and all the rest of it. Not saying that you have to do that in it, but I'm saying there's a time for reviewing. Yeah,
Phone's recording HD now.
Look at you, bro. You know, and I think there's a time to up your game. You know, when you're going for the belt. You know, and I think if you approach it like that, then you are concerned with the way that your team perform. Do you know what I'm saying?
But then it's I don't know. I have this thing about, because then like it does put it on a pedestal.
Yeah. But I feel like it should be put on a pedestal.
Oh, okay.
And my thing is that, and this is why, for me personally, yeah, I'm different to other people in it, because I don't believe it should just be done whenever you want and whenever you feel like it. Yeah, I don't condemn people for that, because whatever way of life you choose, that's you. Do you get what I'm saying? But for me, I think when we look at human beings in general, anything that we get all the time, yeah, we just don't appreciate.
Yeah, but so then,
so
if
like,
you're saying that it shouldn't be done, because it's a clarifying question.
Yeah.
If you're saying that shouldn't be done when you feel like it, when do you feel like it should be done?
So I feel like it should be done when you feel like it is not really the right terminology. I just don't think that it should be done all the time. Yeah. No, all the time.
Okay.
So my thing is like, I feel like it should be done when the mood is right. You know, like when account number, was it 2? Number 1?
What did they say?
They were basically saying that you know, it scratches an itch. You know,
that's really, like number 1.
Yeah. See, I'd be like, I'm not doing it. That's me personally, innit? I'll just be like, I'm not doing it. Like, this doesn't seem like the right moment that I'm feeling to have sex, because at this moment in time, yeah, it's kind of scratching an itch. It feels all right. Do you know what I'm saying? It's just very mediocre. Why do I want that view? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, why do I want that view of sex? For it to be mediocre? Bro, do you know what I have to do? I got to take off all my clothes. And do you get what I'm saying? And I got to perform.
Hey, some people don't, man. They got that belt buckle.
Yeah, some people do the belt buckle and all the rest of it. For me, I find that very restricting. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, you know, how am I supposed to be hitting PBs like that? That's lazy. Do you know what I'm saying? That's also lazy man thing. I'm not on it. Do you know what I'm saying? So for me, that's why. Because I'm like, okay, I understand how much energy I got to exert to do this thing, innit? And I want whoever I'm sleeping with to also have a good time. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not necessarily, it should be
enjoyable for both.
Although I'm adding it like kind of like a sport. Like, I'm not saying that we have to be competitive or anything like that. But you know, we have to at least agree that this is something. Do you get what I'm saying? This is gonna add something. I'm gonna be coming out of the day and be like, yeah, people gonna see me with a grin and a glow and be like, yo, you know, this guy looks different.
Good night, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to him.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how I view it, innit? But I can appreciate that some people, bro, when the itch needs in it, but I'm just not that kind of guy. I like monumentous moments.
Okay, account number 6. I don't feel anything after casual sex. It is just during that it is something. I live in the moment. I don't get carried away by emotions. I don't do it under the influence of drugs or alcohol. I never feel guilty. If I want to do it, I'll do it. It starts with casual talks in the bar about not so casual topics. Meaningful conversations are turn on, and when I feel connected with that person, I'm open to spending the night with them. I wouldn't mind if it turns into something special, but I'm not looking for it actively. I'm never thinking about relationships when I'm hooking up, because I know the other person has come with a mentality that this is a one and done thing. I did catch feelings for someone once, and so I told him, and he didn't want anything more, so I never saw him again, because obviously I didn't want to give myself unnecessary pain. I'm very sorted and emotionally stable, but I'm not numb. For me, most of the time, casual sex is very passionate. The feeling that this is it, it's not going to happen again, is exhilarating. There are stigmas around having casual sex. It is seen as a bad part of society, but I feel like people living their lives in accordance to social norms are caged animals, and I'm a wild animal. I want life to be dynamic, not stagnant. I may or may not get married, but I don't see marriage as a goal. most people marry for security and stability, and it's not supposed to be a goal for two people who actually love each other.
Fair.
So this one was the most triggering to me.
Why?
I don't know. Like, I think probably because of the rejection around like long-term relationships.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But this is how some people see the world, and again, I might have my views on that because I'm a judgy person. I'm just being honest. I'm a judgy person.
We're podcasters, bro. Like, we have to judge situations.
Yeah,
like, it's
but
just
my personal judgment is my personal judgment, and sometimes it's really not on me to disclose that. Certain people have certain lives, and that's their life. And as long as, you know, they're not hurting anybody and they're getting what they want out of their life, it's not impeding on me.
Yeah.
So my judgments can stay in the back of
Your
it's
head.
mine, but I'm not gonna pretend that I don't judge. It's stupid. When I hear people online talking about, oh, I don't judge anybody, I think everybody's special, I'm like, you're a liar. I don't know how to trust you. Everybody judges, you know. So so for me, it was kind of like, raw, you're just happy giving yourself about.
I mean, I think for me, yeah, I just see it as is what it is, isn't it? Like, this person, I don't know. I just feel like they're a bit of a fence sitter, innit? Like, do you know what I'm
Fence
saying?
sitter?
Yeah. just
Nah,
like-
they hop that fence because they're basically talking about they want casual sex. They're gonna continue to have casual sex. Long-term relationships are
Nah, but I think they said if it leads to marriage, like if
Yeah, but that's like
that's what I'm saying. They're
if we,
fence sitter.
if we
like,
go past the KFC, then I'll get a bucket.
Yeah, that's what I'm
but
saying. They're fence sitter. Like
Yeah.
they're like,
But you're not
if,
driving nowhere near KFC, fam.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
then no problem. Do you know? But bro, there's people who have casual sex and then it turns into something bigger.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, a couple of people tried to finesse me that way.
Did it work?
Nah.
Okay, then. So this is what I'm saying.
But but that was all right. Well, yeah, no need to get into Don's situation. But like, yeah. I already gave too much away on this podcast.
The
Anyway.
self-reported.
No, yeah, I already gave too much away. But yeah, no, I just feel I they're just on their vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like you wouldn't feel so vexed if that said that the person was like 21.
I can't remember how they older.
No, yeah, I know. But like, if they were 21, would you have as much as a problem?
Okay, I don't think I would have. I actually don't have much of a problem
Oh, okay, fair
with
enough.
this. I think that she is right in the sense that some people marry for stability. I don't actually think that's a bad thing, but I think it cannot be the only thing. So having something stable is fantastic. I don't know why everybody doesn't understand this and everybody just wants to live in the chaos. If you go to a gym,
Yeah.
the fundamental thing is that the gym must work. So all the machines in there work consistently,
Yeah.
and that the gym is open consistently. That's your foundation.
Yeah.
And as long as that foundation happens, you can continue to sculpt your body and build your body and grow.
Yeah.
Cool. If the gym is always randomly shut, and every time you go to use barbells, they break in half,
Yeah.
or you go to use dumbbells and bits fall off,
Yeah.
you go to use the treadmill and you almost die using it. You can't grow in those. You can't grow in that.
Yeah.
Almost every study they've done on children, they say home stability is key for children and their development. If a house is chaotic, then it doesn't work.
But not everybody wants to have children.
I understand that, but the underlying point is that stability
Yeah.
gives you a board or a ladder for other things.
Yeah.
For development. And if things are too chaotic, then it's almost impossible to grow. Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
And so this idea that stability is a bad thing, I think that's the main issue that I had. However, what she's saying is she just does it.
Yeah,
Just something that she wants to do. She gets some pleasure around the time. I think it's interesting that she says that she gets no pleasure afterwards.
Yeah, well, the person gone, innit? The person cut. I mean,
Yeah.
I get it, innit? I feel like it's just one of those things. I think, you know, I know, yeah, how much we both value family, innit? But to act like just because somebody's married that they have stability, do you get what I'm saying? We know that's not the truth.
Yeah. I'm
So,
not saying that, but I'm saying as a general point.
Yeah.
If you have a stable relationship,
Yeah.
other things come out of that.
And I feel like that person
necessary.
is very much like, okay, well, because of the fact that, you know, nothing is coming out of something, they're just cool. If it came out, then it comes out, innit? I feel like this is a very go with the flow kind of person, you know. And I don't really see too much wrong with that. Like I wouldn't want it for like my child or something like that, because I would want people to strive for greatness. Do you know what I'm saying? Even in this area, do you know what I'm saying? Which is why I think it's good that people keep up their health and do stretch and all the rest of it. But again, you know, if you're just go with the flow, baby.
Yeah, men don't necessarily like when there's no, like, you take something and there's no commitment. There's no blood in.
Yeah.
I think it's something to do with that. So this idea that a man can, for all intents and purposes, use your daughter for sexual pleasure and bounce.
Yeah, and I think it's also the childbirth thing. I think for a lot of people, yeah, it's like, okay, as you said, a man could use your daughter for sexual pleasure, cut, and still have to be actively involved in her life, even though he doesn't necessarily want to. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's always gonna, like, it's almost like having, you know, I don't know, like some sort of a stamp or a mark, or do you know what I'm saying? Like, whether you like it or not, if you have a child with somebody, you always now have to disclose. Imagine getting with somebody and they didn't disclose that they had a child.
Yeah, but I think because the child thing is, I feel like it's different. But
Yeah.
I feel like it's different because children demand a responsibility. And if you don't do it, then you're obviously shirking a responsibility.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, maybe you're justified in doing it. If you have children with somebody and you don't take care of them, you've shirked your responsibility.
Yeah.
That's it. We're not going to play these games. Now, I know that on the other side, some women make it extremely difficult for the father to be involved, whilst telling the child X, Y, Z, which is a despicable act. Yeah. But if you're a man and you have children and you choose not to be part of your children's life, you've shirked your responsibility. You're a child. Simple. Yeah?
Yeah.
So for me, that's one thing. But like I say, I think as a dad, you want whoever comes into your daughter's life to add to your daughter. You don't want it to be like this person is taking something from your daughter, not contributing anything, because as dads, speaking honestly, you don't want to think, oh, well, he's given her pleasure, so that's his contribution. Yeah. You're like, no, that's not what I expect. I want you, forgetting your whole past, you know, and all your eczema skin.
Yeah.
You know, your expectation is that those people are loyal to your daughter. So I think that's where, like, dads get pressed. But
I think also, you know what's crazy about that whole situation, yeah, is that can also happen to men as well. They say that men have one main encounter where they fall in love deeply. Do you know what I'm saying? And if that doesn't go right, you know, it skews the way that they look at things for the rest of their life. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's interesting that men are so protective of their daughters in that way, but it can quite easily happen to their sons. Yeah. It's like we kind of put this block in that, oh, it will never happen to our sons because our sons are these big hegemonic males, and you know all they want to do is have sex, you know, and blow their load. But for some men, you know, they will go through deep heartbreak, and that will shape the way and the interactions that they have with women.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And there needs to be more conversations around that as well. How men deal with breakups in a more healthy way, because what happens is it can taint their opinion of women going forward. And the same for women, but it's more tolerated with women. It's more celebrated that a woman can talk about her breakup and how she feels within the context of that.
Yeah.
And her friends, like female friends, tend to be really good at extracting information. And so if you, like, I'll get off the phone with you some days.
Yeah.
And then Rox will say, oh, how's Don? I'm like, oh, he's fine. Then she'll ask a bunch of questions around topics.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, I don't know. 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 She's like, you've been on the phone for 2 hours and you don't know all of these things. So
all we talk about is the podcast, baby. No, I'm joking. Sorry, guy.
yo, it is what it is. So, okay, account number 8, yeah? I peaked late and the hookup sites were available and I wasn't sure I sure wasn't looking for kisses. The sex definitely made me happy. It wasn't particularly all that, but it was the chase. I juggled so many guys at once that if one said no to me, I had others on standby. Casual sex could be empowering for women. It was for me. For some reason, it feels like you finally hold the key. In the past, and maybe to a lesser, more microaggressive extent, I feel like women were shamed when they were promiscuous. Not giving a f*** and owning your body anyways, that's powerful. I always like to think I felt stronger engaging in casual sex, but many moments when I actually liked the guy and it felt like they were treating me like garbage. You really only feel weak when emotions play into it, right? But essentially, I feel like I'm a woman, I want sex, so I'm getting it, and I'm not waiting around for you. I had good and bad experiences. Some I can recall fondly, but some when I look back, it makes me shudder. Too many people try to pull it in your butt by accident.
How do you do that? How do you do that?
I actually like that type of sex.
This is wild.
But dude, ask. One guy took a condom off mid-sex. That is called stealthing, and that is a crime, gentlemen. Too many guys try to imitate, you know what I'm talking about, which is obviously catered to men, and one tried to titty fuck me, and I have no tits to speak of, so he just rubbed his dick on my chest. Yo, bro. Yo. This one, alright, listen. You know when they say save the best to last? This is crazy. Okay.
I can't lie, I thought all the encounters were going to be like this, but this is wild.
One guy also kept getting phone calls during sex, and he kept ignoring it until he had enough and answered it. He hung up and continued having sex with me, and honestly, it was one of the best sex I've ever had. And after he told me about the call, and it was his dad telling him his grandma's dead. Oh, what a memorable Valentine's. Let me remove my glasses.
There's a lot to unpick here.
Oh my days.
That is very wild. Very, very
Bro,
wild.
I'm in shock, you know. I'm actually in shock. Them stories are crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
I don't even know where to start. I'm gonna let you lead on this one still.
Okay, so this idea that women are shamed for being promiscuous, it is 100% true. There's now a point where women are more open to the idea of having lots of sexual partners. However, that can be distasteful to certain men.
Yeah.
I suppose it's all about numbers, yeah? Because for some men, a woman with 6 bodies is fine, but a woman with 15, 20 bodies isn't. And so there's this gap because women want to be able to express themselves sexually, and there is now a marketplace for them to do so. So before, traditionally, women weren't allowed to do that. They got their social value was decreased by doing it by the entire society in which they lived in. And men shamed women, and also other women who ascribed to that idea shamed women for that type of behavior. Now it seems like it's very different. And so a woman, even a woman who's, I don't always like ragging on OnlyFans girls, yeah, but a woman who's got OnlyFans, who is doing it with multiple different partners, because a lot of this is something that you have to bear in mind, because like I say, a lot of people kind of shit on OnlyFans girls, but a lot of OnlyFans girls either do it with their partner, mostly, or do it by themselves. Yeah. So there is that. But for me, I think there's now a point of contention.
Okay.
Right? There's a point of contention where men are saying, yeah, but if you have a certain number of body count, you can't, I'm just not willing to be with you. And women are saying, yeah, but we have the autonomy to express ourselves as we like in a marketplace that allows us to do so.
Yeah. And
You
that's,
understand?
and that's true, isn't it? But, you know, different strokes for different folks, innit?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it's now getting into this thing where men are sort of rejecting women, and women still want to have casual sex, and men don't understand the reasons why women want to have casual sex, even though they understand the reasons for themselves having casual sex. And also, men who say that they don't want women to have loads of casual sex actively seek women who want casual sex in order to have casual sex.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No, I hear you. I hear you.
So I know that a lot of it gets put on women, right? And I don't want to like put on my whole simping hat, but if men are actually gonna be accountable, and men are gonna say we want a certain standard,
Yeah,
then that is a standard you have to adopt by yourself as well.
So stop having casual sex.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
then all the women won't be having casual sex.
Bro, how
'cause
can you go on? How can you go online and have a big platform saying like women are this and women are that when you're actively seeking those women to gratify yourself?
Yeah.
You know, so if you have the standard, if you want the standard, then be the standard.
Yeah, but it doesn't really work like that. Hospitals serve Burger King.
Burger King, yeah,
Hospitals, my brother.
yeah,
Well, you couldn't get a prep.
yeah. But what I'm saying is, if you are a person who extols standard, yeah,
Yeah.
it shouldn't matter what the wider. That's what having standard means. Society says that this thing is okay, and you say, yeah, but it's not okay for me.
Yeah, but there are people like that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I understand that there might be people like that.
Yeah.
But this issue has men who participate in this behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. And those people,
I don't disagree.
And not to cut you, but those men in particular, especially amongst the red pill community, they're the ones with the biggest platform, because they say yada 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 about these women, but when it actually comes to it, they're engaging in exactly the same behavior, and then when you confront them on it, they're like, yeah, biology though. If it's biology, these women wouldn't be out here like bouncing on your things.
Yeah. Yeah.
The way that do you understand? So for me, I get the point that she's saying. But I think it's up to every individual person to be able to say, look, this is my standard, this is my standard. If that's what you ascribe to. If you don't ascribe to that, then no worries. Like, you know, smash it until your heart content.
And I think you're right, but I think it's all about society, innit? If we all stop having hookups, yeah, for example, yeah, which is definitely not going to happen, yeah, anytime soon. But like, let's say we all stop having hookups, then we would only have people who haven't hooked up, right? Yeah. And then let's say there's a huge percentage of people or women who don't have hookups. It's their job to set the standard. If you want somebody who doesn't have hookups, you find somebody who doesn't have hookups. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, it may be rare, yeah, but that's what you look for, because you don't have hookups and you don't want somebody who has hookups. If you're gonna be a woman who, it works vice versa. If you're gonna be a woman who doesn't like hookups, but you're actively pursuing a man who has hookups, then you're accepting the behavior to some degree.
Yeah, but also we have to remember that it's not women who typically seek out men.
Yeah,
it's
I know.
men who typically seek out women.
I understand.
And so a woman who might be a traditional wife is waiting there. You understand? She's not. She has a low body count, and then this dude says, "Yeah, I'm gonna circle back to that one because man wants to smash."
Yeah. And what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that it's a fair system. It's definitely not a fair system. But what I'm saying is that the problem, as you said, with having a standard is that the standard has to be upheld. Otherwise, stuff goes out of balance.
Yeah.
So if you're something and you want something, but you decide that you're gonna go below your standard, then it already sets a
You've
precedent.
deviated from the standard.
And I think that's what the problem is, that regardless of what we kind of think or what anyone's views is, we can both agree as men and women, that we both deviate from the standard. Both men who want, chaste women, deviate from the standard. Women who said that they want chaste men, like certain, remember, they got a biological clock as well, So for a lot of women, it's like, I mean, how many women are going to be like, listen, this guy has everything I want, The sex is amazing. He looks and smells good. He takes care of himself. He's got a good job, How many women are going to be like, but actually he has too many bodies?
I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't think there's going to be a huge percent. Obviously, I can't say. I'm not a woman, innit? And I'm definitely not a woman in that position.
I will say that women tend to give men more width when it comes to their sexual partners.
Of course.
I hope people got what I was trying to say. I'm not talking about.
Yeah.
But they tend to be more liberal with the numbers that they allow. Yeah. Whereas opposed to men are way more strict in the types of numbers that.
And could you imagine a society where women weren't?
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? I think it would flip the power dynamic to some degree.
Yeah, I don't know.
Especially women are not the minority. Men are.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true, but
you don't know whether that's true. What, in the UK?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you are right.
We probably have to check, innit?
Yeah.
But yeah, if women are in the majority, if the standard was, and I know it will never be, but if the standard was, that women, were chaste, and they're in majority, and they impose that on men, to say, well, actually, you know what, if you're gonna sleep around, I'm not gonna pick you up then, And these were some of the most beautiful. We're talking about men who love aesthetics. These were some of the most beautiful women. The culture would change, bro. The problem is the problem is to me that we're just all imbalanced and we all like what we like. So it is what it is. We all drop our standards. Every single one of us.
Yeah, I'm sensitive to that, but I don't know that women imposing something. It would have to be a really universal effort on par with something that I've really never seen in humanity.
Yeah, of course, because we're all flaky.
The only time I've ever seen that is, or read about something along those lines is in Iceland. In Iceland back a day, all the women of Iceland refused to go to work because men felt like they didn't contribute.
Yeah,
and the country ground to a complete standstill, and that needed every woman to participate.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about would need every woman to participate.
Oh, no, definitely.
Because otherwise, men would just say
they're going to the group of women.
Yeah, they're going to the group of women, and we've always had that in society, even.
But then, do you see what the issue is? Yeah, the issue is this. Yeah, if you have a high population, of females who stand their ground, and a lower population of the females who want to be smashed, and the population of that is so low, then men are gonna feel repulsed. Why? Because everybody's just gonna be double dipping in the same thing. If you have 50 men, yeah, and you have a group of 5 women, yeah, who don't want to be chased, yeah, that means 50 men are dipping into 5 women. I don't think they're gonna like that,
bro. People been and
I agree.
gang banging since.
I agree.
Since
but I don't
back
think.
in the day.
But if we're talking about a wife, bro, yeah,
yeah,
you're gonna pick out of that 5.
If you had to, most men would, yeah.
You reckon?
I think so. Look at the amount of
but 50
adult actresses who actually are married.
Yeah, but 50
have children. Do you understand?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is 50 can't choose 5. You still have 45 people who are waiting. So what do you think they're gonna do? What, spend the rest of their life single?
No, I think that those people would probably
just cheat with the 5 women.
Yeah, they would marry and then cheat.
That's mad.
Yeah.
Well, look how whooped we are then. That's crazy. That's actually crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, the thing is, you might be right. And I would like to think that men have the because one of the things I don't like is this infantile take, yeah? Mm-hmm. That men can't control their sexual desires. I actually hate it. It makes you sound like a little boy.
Yeah.
And so you running around saying, it's my biology, it's my biology. That is big cap. You should be able to, the same way you say, listen, go to the gym and work out and be disciplined. The same way you say, sort out your finances and be disciplined. Same way you say, keep your word to people, yeah, and be disciplined. Why can't you put that to your sexual desires as well?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No,
so I would like to think that men could do that. And more power to the guys that actually do that, because the same way I feel about female promiscuity, I feel it about male promiscuity as well. I just think it's been oversold. I think that a lot of people that we've listened to in these accounts, what do they say? Like, I don't feel anything afterwards. I don't feel anything afterwards. In a moment, it's great, but I don't feel anything afterwards. And if we're trying to build meaningful lives, men and women, why are we doing things that, one, it's like feel good momentarily, but make us not feel anything afterwards?
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, if you sleep with somebody, the goal is that it's not just sleeping with somebody. It's in the context of a relationship where you build, where you're affectionate, where you can grow together, where you maybe, if you're blessed enough, introduce children and take on the role of a figurehead in order to facilitate those young people through their lives, and you're still building together. You remember when you didn't have no money together. You remember when this happened and when that happened, and then you're mixing sex into a dynamic like that. There is no way that you can say, like, I feel nothing. Like, you're building together in a connective way. All the tendons and that are, latching onto each other and building something. You feel what I'm saying? And so for me, that's always the goal, and that's why my platform is the way that it is. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, anyone want to talk about the chest thing? No? All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We appreciate you so much. If you're not subscribed and you enjoy the conversation, please subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram at The Family Podcast. We have IG Lives every Wednesday where we just have a chat conversation. So it'd be good to see you there. Until the next time, my name is Sammy.
My name is Don.
And we've been The Family.
Bow.